Welcome, everybody. It is Sunday, July 24th, 2022. I can't believe July is almost over. And this is the Morgellons Call of the Week. So, in spite of the heat wave sweeping our nation, we are here, and we are so grateful. And I am Robin, the co-host. I'm here with the host of this call and the author of the book, How to Get Your Life Back, from Morgellons and Other Skin Parasites, Richard Kuhns. He is a world-leading expert in Morgellons and other skin parasites. He's been in the trenches with us. He never stops researching. He has tried and true proven methods for getting your life back. And every Sunday he's here to answer questions, to present new information. You can email him. He's an amazing guy that has given so much to this community. So and it is a community, and that's how we get through this together. So please welcome Richard Kuhns.
Thank you, Robin. It's a pleasure to be here, everybody. It's a hot day today, and we have a hot topic. And we have a hot lady to share her experience. This is about getting your life back from Morgellons and other skin parasites that can actually ruin your life if you're not already aware of that and destroy you. The program I have is based on a diet that I discovered back in the mid-90s, and without that diet, I might not be here today. I think I would have passed on by now. It was miserable. And the diet kind of put them to sleep. Once I figured that out and stuck with it, then along came everything else that's in the book. And we pretty well have a protocol that really works. So before I introduce Ethel, I want to simply go over the FDA guidelines and the AMA so that we are on board. None of what we say here today has been evaluated by the FDA or the AMA. The FDA requires me to inform you that before you start the King Diet or accept any of our recommendations, that you are to discuss them with your doctor to make sure they do not interfere with any health problems you're presently experiencing. And the AMA, of course, requires me to inform you that none of us are physicians. We haven't gone through med school and learned anatomy and medications and things like that. So we are not here. We do not diagnose you. We do not treat you. We do not mitigate or cure any disease. So what can we do? We can educate you. And that's basically what this is all about, because with education, we can move mountains. We can get rid of Morgellons destroying our lives. We can get our lives back. So I can educate you through the book and this program today how to utilize the King Diet. And when you have the diet, when you make that diet kick in, we don't know why, but somehow it seems like the organisms go to sleep. Meaning, for the first time, when that diet kicks in, you might have a whole night's sleep without being disrupted at 2 or 3 a.m. With itching and biting that drives you nuts. So that's number one. Number two, we know the organisms are in the environment. We contaminate our environment. Our environment contaminates us back. So the essence is, first of all, recognize that until you make the diet work, you're a walking, talking, breathing machine. And these organisms are being multiplying inside your skin. And wherever you go, the strange thing about them is that they shed from your body. You can shed filaments from your skin. Some of the organisms, like springtails, actually can spring off of your body onto your environment and onto other people that might be in your vicinity. So number one, make the diet work. Number two, clean up your environment, because if you've been dealing with these organisms for more than a week or so and haven't had an approach, well, they're already in your car, they're in your bedroom, they're in your clothing, they are in your living room, they are in your kitchen, they are even in the sinks, in the bath, they could be in your AC units, the vents of your air conditioning systems as well. They can even be in your automobile ventilation system. So all these things are dealt with and discussed in Chapter 3 of the book, how to clean them out of the environment. So we can educate you how to do that. And we can educate you how to clean them out of your skin. Because if you've been dealing with these organisms for 6 months, 2 years, 5 years, many people come to us after even 15 or 20 years, they have inhabited your skin and gone layers deep. And it's kind of like peeling an onion. So we can educate you on how to clean them out of your skin. And because you've had them for a period of time, I don't think anyone would disagree with me in the fact that you'd find that your immune system has been compromised, and so has your health. So we can also educate you as to the targeted supplements to rebuild your health and your immune system. So I got this email a couple days ago from our coach in Florida, Ethel, who's been with us for quite a few years. And she's a wonderful lady. You're going to love listening to her voice and to her energy. But the email was about pampering yourself. Who in the heck is thinking about pampering themselves? And then I thought, why not? You know, we actually have in the store, I don't know if it's there, but we have a section, I think it was for Bare Minerals for that's a line of cosmetics for treating your skin, and somebody said, why in the hell do you have cosmetics in your store? Well, you know, people get well. People get their lives back. Then what? And so I want you to introduce Ethel in Florida. Hello, Ethel. Are you there?
Hello to everybody who's on the line today. I'm feeling kind of like a 100-year-old sloth after listening to Chris and his accomplishments and listening to all the energy that you guys are exuding. But I'm gonna, try to do my best. Yeah, you're right. I just kind of got hung up, and I didn't hear anything else after you said a hot lady in Florida. You're right. I'm hot because I'm in Florida. Other than that, hey, just trying to make it. But
how long have you been dealing with skin parasites? How long did you have them?
It will be 5 years this coming August 8th. I spent one night in an Airbnb here in Florida, and I came out with this. And I've been dealing successfully with it since then, and especially once I got onto your program. I was fortunate enough to have a naturopath here in the area where I am, who was gracious enough to want to share information with me other than just her products. And she was the one who told me about your Nature's Gift soap and said, please try it. That some of her other Morgellons patients had a lot of success. And I did, and then I started coming on the calls, and things have gone really well, really, really well for me.
Wasn't there something about the neighborhood cats bringing the organisms to your front door, too?
Well, when you and I spoke briefly the other day, after I got off the line, I thought about what he said about facing your fears. And I faced one of mine very recently. I actually moved away from the house where I had been for 6 years, and during the time I had this, because I have a neighbor who tells the city that the 30 cat colony is a feral cat colony, but they're actually all of her cats. And they're outside, and, other people kind of drop them off to her and everything. And so whenever I went out to my mailbox and went outside to my car, there was the opportunity to be reinfected. So I just had to finally make the decision to move. And right the week before Christmas of this past year, I did that. But I had to go back over to the house because it's my sister's retirement home that I went in and made into like a hospice unit for myself. But I had to go back over to check on the air conditioning, and of course I had to wait 4 hours. I was a little anxious about going, but I did some self-talk. I kind of did a meditation, and I went and was able to be there and not feel totally overwhelmed. And when I came back, I knew what to do, take a shower, just in case the had gotten on to me. So I did face my fears that way, but I had to remove myself from the environment to get better.
Yes. So, okay. So you are also vegetarian, correct?
I was. I had been a vegetarian for over 30 years, and then following the diet or the eating plan that you prescribed, I could not have the foods that would make a complete protein, like the rice and the beans. I know there are some other things that are supposed to, I guess, get you close to that. Then I was listening on the Sunday program, which I think all people should be listening to this, especially when you're first starting, because you are hearing something that you might want to incorporate into your lifestyle. And there was a lady, and I think she was in the medical profession, and she was in California, very close to where I used to live out there. And she had been a vegetarian. She reincorporated a really good cut of beef. And I thought, I've always wanted fish again. And so I got some really good fish according to what's in the diet plan or the eating plan. It was not oily. And I fried it in the rice bran oil, and I did it in the middle of the day in case I did get really sick and had to go outside and try to weigh down somebody to take me to emergency. Nothing happened, except that I was very satisfied. So I went from the fish to buying the Green Wise beef from Publix. We have this wonderful chain here in Florida. They have great food. And I tried that, and it reminded me of beef from my childhood. It wasn't all gamey. It was delicious. So I am no longer a vegetarian, but I've noticed as I have healed more that now I'm wanting to go back more toward the vegetarian side and just don't do very much meat anymore. But I had to make a decision, try to maintain the vegetarian lifestyle or do what I needed to do to get the proteins that I needed for my body. So I made that choice.
Yes, because the parasites really don't care about what your personal beliefs are, do they?
Absolutely, and that's what I had to take into consideration. There are some meats that I still did not reincorporate because just from my memory, I didn't want those. I didn't want chicken and I didn't want pork. I just didn't want those. I never did. I just stuck with the fish and the beef, and right. That way I could be healthy. Yeah.
So, in general, though, we've had many people that have been vegan and or vegetarian and not actually stray from their belief and be successful in getting their lives back. But again, it's a personal choice, and you may have faster results if you perhaps, as Ethel has done, negotiate for a period of time to get things rolling. So would you say that you pretty well have your life back now? Everything is normal for you pretty well?
I do. As a matter of fact, I've been able to take a couple of road trips. I've driven up through what I call Old Florida and gone up into Georgia where I have relatives that I visit with, and to make the trip to the dentist. And I do just a lot of day traveling around here in the area where I am. It's beautiful, and I go back to the beach area. I go shopping thing, something that I had stopped doing, and so I do that. And I would say overall, yes. And as far as like going to the dentist, that's something I put off. And I just want to say, I think that when I did finally go, it was a combination of my having the skin condition, and then we had the pandemic. So that deferred my treatment. And I was someone who had to go to the dentist, it seems, every 3 months for something major. After 5 years, I went into the dentist, and things were in fairly good shape. Well, really very good shape. And I credit that to the mouthwash. I brush with the mouthwash all the time. That's my go-to. I don't have any other kind of dental hygiene thing that I do other than the mouthwash and doing the flossing. So I do credit that to my mouth being in as good a condition as it was. So essentially, yes, I have my life back, and I'm putting it back together, things that had fallen apart. I, during this process, lost 60 pounds, and I'm 5'6½", and I'm just a medium-sized frame. So when I got to 128 pounds, I was very, very skeletal looking. And
you're a hot lady, huh?
Well, I kind of look like a Halloween skeleton, and I have a friend who had the same fat until she said getting out something really nasty. And so she would be one person I would interface with periodically during that time, and she said, oh God, please get fat again, Elma, please, So now I'm back to my freezing plump stuff, and I am really, really happy. And believe it or not, my doctor she said, oh, that's a good thing. You gain the weight that means your body is getting healthier. But now I'm on a diet and having to go walking. So it's working.
Now, you've coached quite a few people over the last couple of years. What is the biggest mistake you think that most people make?
Oh, being persistent. Like in my little communicate to you, I was saying, and people feel like it's overwhelming, and my caveat to them, or my encouragement to them, is like, but aren't you worth it? I mean, who's worth more of the work than you are, especially when you're trying to get your health back. So all this work that I do to myself is worth it. Everybody else, when I had to go to work, I'm a retired teacher. So I've worked for everybody else, for the kids, for my daughter, so now I have to work for myself for a very good reason to get my health back. So I tell them, just think of it that way. A lot of people complain about the cost, and I do understand that, because you did hear what I said I did as a profession, right? I was a teacher, so I'm broke. But I get a pension, and I just had no idea how I would be able to afford the supplements and the topicals and the things that I needed, and all the cleaning products, not only for me, but my outside environment where I was being bombarded. So it was like a small fortune. So what I did, I thought, okay, I've got credit cards, and I just use them to get whatever I want. Every once in a while, I get like a gig where I can do something. I help people to do audio books, to go up on Audible. I help them to edit their books. I used to write, but I lost my muse. And and just as I think I'm at the point where I'm not going to make it, I get a little infusion of something to help me along the way. So I tell them, spend the money on yourself. And don't stinch on the product. If you need 2 capsules, use 2 capsules and stand on faith that you're going to get the rest of what you need. So that's my biggest encouragement. And lately I've had someone who was waiting to get all of her things together, including the Victory machine and her supplements and her topicals and her soaps. And I called, and she said, I've got them all. They're sitting on the table. I went, they won't do you any good sitting on the table. You know, we got to. So, you know, she called back. She was having a little difficulty with her Victory machine. Well, I was sitting in the park, and I'm sitting here trying to remember what my Victory machine was. Okay, engage the black button up on the top. And, I mean, we worked through it. So I tell them, hey, just get started with it. And if you're not going in, what's wrong with going in and, you know, like doing the hair and, you know, doing a facial? I mean, I'm like, what that picture? Richard, may I read my letter that I wrote to you?
What's that?
May I read the little letter that I sent to you?
Yes.
I said, you know, Richard, some people find this enormous amount of time that goes into care like a little bit overwhelming. Well, as I was looking in the mirror putting on a facial, it dawned on me, never before in my life have I been so pampered. And let me clarify that, folks. I'm a senior citizen. I don't mean the pampers, you know, that we sometimes have to resort to. I'm talking about really loving myself. As a divorced parent, working as a teacher who arrived at work by 7:30 a.m. and left after 5 o'clock p.m., I barely had time for anything other than dinner preparation and choosing a frumpy outfit for the next day. A facial, a luxurious body soap and exotic oils and soap? Wow. I never would have dreamed of this in my wildest imaginings. At my biannual Medicare required physicals, my doctor looked up for my chart and told me to roll my age back 10 years. Look at your skin, she said. I'm thankful for all the help and support I received from this wonderful assembly of folks. Hey, gotta go. Time to look in the mirror again. She thought I was going to go.
I sent your email out to everybody this morning on the list, so everybody had an opportunity to read it. But, you know, tell us what your skin was like before you got into the program. Did you have lesions? What were they like? How deep were they?
Well, I grew up in Florida. I grew up here really close. I'm in the Daytona area, but I'm in the little it's just a half me out now. And it is. But I've lived in California for many years, up in Northern California, and there is, I guess, huge sunshine. Maybe it's because of the smog that's covering up the sun a lot. But I had really decent skin. And when I came back to the East Coast after I retired, and I was in different groups, writing groups, line dancing groups, you name it, braiding, rubber bands. If there was a group, I was in it. And the comment would be, look at your skin. It's really, really nice. And I'm, you know, like, okay, thanks. And then I got this stuff. And so I thought, well, okay, now I don't believe in jinxes or anything like that, but I'm down here close to Casadega. But the skin went from being really nice skin to my having lesions over both of my legs, around the armpits, where, you know, I had lots of activity there, and so lots of scarring. In my back, they say that, oh, you know, this happens because people are picking and notice they don't have the lesions where they can't reach. Well, I'm sorry, I had them in the middle of my back, so that just dispels that. And at one time I had like such crusting of biofilm on my face that I looked like a burn victim. I did not have too many lesions on my face. I had one above my right eyebrow that was like the biggest thing that I've had to deal with. But I did. I broke out. I looked like a burn victim. I totally shaved my head, and I have pictures that will horrify people because I look back and think, I survived this because I had like tunnels up in my scalp where it seems as if they had just embedded themselves and coming down the sides of my face. And yeah, so it's really been, you know, it was really quite severe. And for me now to be where I am is just really amazing. I have a sister who's 13 years younger than I am and who has always had fabulous skin. When I was up to see her a couple of months ago, we stepped out into the sunlight, and I know she's looking at me. She's a retired RN, and she goes, turn this way. And I did, and turn the other. She said, you know, your skin is really looking good for somebody 100 years old. I went, now, hold up. Let's not start exalting anybody. But, yeah, it has a glow. I have decided I will never wear makeup again because for me, I think, even though you have it in the store, Richard, I'm not going to wear it because to me that is just an environment where they can flourish again. So I'm just going natural and really enjoying it, and just really thankful that I'm at this point.
Wow. So would you say that you feel healthier now than you did before before you were impacted by the organisms, by the Morgellons and other things that you had?
Absolutely. That would be something kind of hard for me to admit before because I felt that I lived a very, very healthy lifestyle. I was a vegetarian. I didn't smoke. I didn't, drink. And I thought, I ate pretty properly. I mean, I exercised once in a while. But my sciatica bothered me. I had really bad stomach problems and things like that. And once I got this, I started taking some really good supplements. And as a result, I never lost energy, even when I was being ravished by these things. And it was because I think the supplements that I kicked in that helped me. The only time I felt like a wet noodle was I had a die-off. And that was one of the, and I understand, symptoms of a die-off is that you're wiped out. And I was wearing socks all the time then, and I can remember putting on one sock, flopping back on the bed for about 10 minutes and get up and try to put the next sock on. But overall, I had good energy, and I do feel totally so much healthier now that I have followed the routines that we established. And as I told someone, I will probably take Lufeneron as a maintenance for the rest of my life. I will also be taking garlic and those kinds of things for the rest of my life. So I absolutely do feel that I am in much better health. I have no stomach issues, other than, it's a little big from eating too much. But other than that, my system works very well. So I do feel that I'm in much better condition. So, I look at that as, I call it a blessing. Had I not been afflicted with this, I never would have taken the supplements that I take to help me to feel as well as I feel now. So this is probably going to prolong my life, just my having had this.
True. Thank you. So everybody says basically the same thing, that they're healthier, feel better, have more energy, having gotten through this than they were before they were impacted by the parasites. I think I'm missing the mark. I should be marketing this program to the whole country for everybody. That there's nobody that can't benefit from this program. The diet, I don't know what it is about it, but you dropped how many pounds? Did you say?
It was 60.
60 pounds.
No.
So
Yeah.
you dropped all those pounds. Nick, another coach of ours, dropped, 200 and some pounds. I mean, yeah, some people who are light framed, who weigh only about 110 pounds, it's a little difficult in the beginning when you're on stage one to deal with the, you don't want to drop the weight, and we have ways of keeping you hopefully bulked up so you don't drop that much weight. But when you get into stage 2 and stage 3, it's not so much of an issue. What stage, are you in stage 3 now, Ethel?
Oh, yes, I am. I eat essentially anything that I want. I just try to do it in moderation. But yeah, I'm able to. I'm back pretty much to a regular diet.
That's phenomenal. So you can have ice cream, or you can have a dessert if you want it. You can have anything you want in moderation. You can have some fruit. You can have some cherries, some watermelon,
avocado,
oranges,
absolutely.
Whatever's growing on the tree outside. That's great. That's fantastic. This is possible for every one of you out there. And we are here, Robin and I and Mary are here every Sunday to make that possible. Ethel, I believe when we first started these conference calls, we didn't do video. We only did telephone. That went back about probably 3 or 4 years. And how many of them did you attend?
I was there for each one. I missed 2, and I can't. One call I missed because my sister and her family came down to visit, and I missed one other. But I think throughout maybe 2.5, close to 3 years, I guess, I only missed one call. The 2 calls, sorry.
Right. Basically, as you know about as much about this as I do, because you've been on all the calls and you've learned along the way, which makes you an excellent coach, and you have been, and you made the program work. What importance did you give the calls? What did they do for you? What did these calls do for you?
Yeah, I had a community of supporters, and I had a community that I could help to support, hopefully. As a matter of fact, I have friends from very early on when I first came on the call, when we used to give our numbers out. Remember, we would just give the numbers and everything.
Right.
I still have friends from that time that we talk to each other, we text each other. One is expecting the first grandchild, and we're all excited. And I sent her some things for the grandbaby. I mean, and it's just been wonderful to have people who understand that you're really not weird. You know, that this is a real condition. And we support each other. And some of my little buddies, if I don't hear from them for a while, I'm hoping that they are okay and back to their life. That's why I haven't heard. But I'll check in. And sometimes it's because they are at a low point. And so that, we talk about it and try to get things back going, in the right direction again. But I have truly been very, very fortunate to encounter some wonderful, wonderful people on these calls.
So that's fantastic, and that's what we invite everybody to do. We have a buddy program, and later on when we stop recording, we will share information on how to get into the buddy program, how to connect. So overall, it's a win-win thing. You win socially, you drop the weight if you have excess weight, you get healthier, you get your life back, you can eat eventually anything that you want. And did you ever have to take any medications like strong antibiotics or anything like that to get your life back?
Initially, when I was trying to figure out what was going on, as I said, I got this in August, and then we had a very active hurricane season that started that September, so I had to evacuate. So I left my house for about 4 months. And during that time, I'm just trying to figure out what I can do for myself. I got some diatomaceous earth and just started rubbing that. I bought myself 2 cat collars and put them around my ankles, and I thought, okay, and that. So I was just trying to do things until I could get back down to Florida to see my primary care physician. And so I drove down, got a chance to talk to her, and she ordered for me albendazole. And I had been doing some research myself, and I asked her, well, do you think I can have ivermectin too? So we did the albendazole, and then later on we did the ivermectin. And I went to the pharmacy, and I get along really well with young people. And so I told the girl, I said, you know, I'm taking some herbs. I seem to feel better with them. That she said, keep on with your herbs. So I did the ivermectin, albendazole, but when I went back like a second time, my doctor the third, she says, I can't give you any more. It's bad for your liver. So that was kind of the end of her treatment plan for me. I was able to get some hydroxyzine, which is a prescribed medication. And one of the medications, 11 out of 13 medications you have listed in the book, that the doctors prescribe it to people who are in a psychotic episode,
right.
But they also prescribe it for people they say are affected with delusional parasites, and it's a Seroquel. The difference is that for us, it's 30 milligrams, where someone who's in a true psychotic episode is 300 milligrams. So that's the kind of help that I got from the medical community. I was sent to an infectious disease doctor, and, you know, she assured me that I didn't have anything, that after looking around the office, I thought I might have something by the time I leave, so I'm not coming back. So I didn't go back to her. But I just decided that I was not getting the best help and the best benefit by pursuing the medical thing. So, no, I never took any of the antibiotics because I have a bad gut. I had one that's better, so I could never take any of those. So I've just been able to do this with the herbals, essentially.
Right, great. Okay.
This is Janina.
Hi, Janina.
Hi. I had a question for Ethel, because you were talking about die-off, and I just started the program, well, not even quite a week, but I'm noticing a difference, a definite improvement, and then, I don't know, I'm wondering, because now things are moving down my legs. Before it was mostly just on my neck and face and back and shoulders and arms. Now they're moving down my legs. And I'm wondering how long did the die-off? Not that, I mean, I know everybody's different. I was just wondering because I'm so exhausted.
Okay. I'll try to answer from what I experienced.
Okay, yeah.
The die-off experience I had was, I don't think I saw a great manifestation of them outside because of that. I think it was more them dying off internally and releasing the toxins and stuff that made me feel really bad. But
yeah.
I actually, I took zeolite. Someone told me that you need to take zeolite if you are going to be, doing a detox, and, that helps. So anytime I thought in terms of a detox, I would do the zeolite as well.
Okay, yeah, I do have zeolite.
Right. And that was very helpful to me. As a matter of fact, I got that information from, I actually called a couple of people in Congress years ago. One congressman was interested in parasites, and then there was someone else who was working with him on that. So I ended up calling the office. One was for Georgia, and the other was for Oregon. Of course, I'm in Florida, but that's okay. I'm still one of their constituents. And I got one of the aides, and I was explaining to him what I had, and I'm thinking, like, and CDC is not helping me. They're not saying it's, a real condition and stuff. And he seemed to have known something about it. And he was the one who told me about getting the zeolite. I thought, okay, so I don't know if he ever passed my information along to, his representative or not, but I did get that information from him is in regard to getting the zeolite to help me.
Okay.
Yes, yeah. Yes, anyone else? And we did add zeolite to our protocol, our recommendations a couple of years ago. The ideal way to go instead of zeolite is by using amino acids and digestive enzymes. But unfortunately, we haven't been able to get our amino acids for about 3 months. So the only option really is zeolite at this point. Yes, Robin?
I also think, if you have more activity on your legs, I don't think that's part of a die-off. I think as you get better, that could be just your environment attacking your legs, and you're getting better up above, but the environment is reaching your legs.
It's hard to say. It's important. It's important to make that diet work. Number one,
right.
Make that diet work. Then we can look at the environment and recontamination issues. But until we make the diet work, it's not possible to really figure out what's going on.
Right.
Well, Ethel, it's been such a wonderful pleasure to hear your wonderful voice and the energy in your voice, and I love the work that you're doing with the coaching and everything. And love you. Keep coming back, and thank you so much for participating today.